Okay, guys, we're back from doing your work, so we're gonna graph some trig functions from an equation. So here we go. It's a little teeny bit harder. Just want you to know that. Here we go. So in order to graph them, we need to find the amplitude, the midline. So I need to, from my equation, which we did yesterday, we pulled out all this information. I need to find my amplitude, my midline, my period. Oh, I spelled period wrong. And my frequency. Okay. In order, I don't really need the frequency. Yeah, it helps me find my midline, right? So we're gonna write it down anyways. So what is my amplitude? Well, amplitude is the number. Remember the number in front of sign, so it is 1. My midline is the number being added, so it is y. I want to put this in here right so you guys can answer it right when we have homework. My midline is y equals 0. It's a line, right? So my frequency is pi. Okay, what is my period? Well, let me give me some room here. My period is 2 pi divided by pi, which equals 2. So I need to have a complete revelation every 2. Ooh. Okay. So here we go. So, and it's sine. So I'm going to draw in my upper and my lower boundaries because that helps me. Okay, so I mean, I have an amplitude of 1. So I'm going to just draw in a little dotted line, which is not very good, but we get it. And here's my lower boundary. And then here's my midline. Okay. Great. There we go. Okay, so I know it's sine. So the next thing I know is, because it's sine, I know that I'm going to start on 0, 0. Okay. So it has a period of 2. That means in 2, the number 2, I have to have a complete revelation. That means at 2, I'm going to go back to start on the midline, go above the midline, through the midline, below the midline, and back to the midline. Those 5 points. So I need to find out where 2 is on my graph. And this is how I do it. Well, how much is pi? How much is pi worth? 3.14, right? So pi is approximately 3. So that means if I divide pi into thirds, so, you know, I'm not very good at that, but I'm going to try here. Here's 1, here's 2, and there's 3. That looks about right. That means in 2 of those, 1, 2, here is when I have to be done. Okay? So I'm going to do it the other way. I'm just going to go between pi and negative pi on this one. So here is, so I'm trying to do it backwards here. Oh, and I got it in the wrong spot. Okay. So here is 2 here. Okay. So halfway between 1 and 2, 0 and 2 is 1. That means I'm going to be back at the midpoint. Okay, so then I'm going to go up and be halfway between. So it's about there. And then halfway between here and here is about there. Halfway between is somewhere, oops, down here. And then halfway between is somewhere up there. Up there. Okay, should probably be over a little bit more. Let me fix that point up there. Halfway between is somewhere maybe in there. Okay, so here's what my sine curve should look like. Now that one was a little bit off, but That's what it should look like. Okay, so my frequency is pi. That means I should have pi of these 3.14 complete revelations in 2 pi. So if I kept drawing it out, I should have about 3.14 revelations in 2 pi. So that's how that works. And I'm just going to draw that little teeny piece there. You can keep drawing it out. You can put it in your calculator or in Desmos to check and see if that is correct. Although probably Desmos is not going to give you your x-coordinate, your x-axis in radians. It'll probably give it to you just in 1, 2, 3, 4. But you should be able to see that at 2 pi would be like 6.28. You should have about 3.14 revelations, about 3 and a little bit of a 3, about, I want to highlight this for you so you can see what I'm talking about. About this many, 3.14 of these between 0 and 2.68. 6, oh my Lanta, 6.28 if you put it into Desmos. Okay, so we're going to try this again on the next one. It's a little different. Okay. So, but we're still finding the same thing. I'm finding my amplitude. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this program. My amplitude, my midline, my period, and my frequency. Okay, so my amplitude is still 1. My midline is y equals 0. My frequency is 4 pi. Woo, okay. That's a lot of revelations between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so my period is 2 pi divided by 4 pi, which is 1/2. Okay, 1/2. Woo, okay. So let's draw on our draw on what we know. So we know our midline is here. Okay. And we know we have a height of 1 and a lower limit of 1. Okay, so here we go. And it's cosine. So that means I'm starting up here on the height. Okay? So my next height has to be half the distance. I have to have 1/2. So I want to find out where my 1s are again. So I'm going to do, this is 1, this is 2, and there's 3. And then here's 4, 5-ish, and 6. That one might be a little stretch. So that's 1. I have to have half. So that means in half here, I need to do a complete revelation in here. And then another one here, another one here, another one here, another one here, another one here. That's all I'm going to do because this is a lot of revelations, okay? So watch. In here, I have to go all the way down here and back up. All the way down here and back up. All the way down here and back up. Okay, so a half. And I have to have 4 pi's of those. So 4 times 3.1, oh my gosh, I can't even remember what pi is now. 3.1, 3.14, 159, great. Okay, 4 times that. So 4 times, let's just say 4 times 3. I have to have 12 of those in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I have 6 about between 0 and pi. So another 6 between pi and 2 pi, that's going to give me 12-ish in there. So do I have enough? Yes, there's going to be enough in there. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go on to the next graph. Whew, that's a lot of little squigglies. Okay. Okay, here we go. So, again, we want to find the amplitude, the midline, the period, and the frequency. Okay, so my amplitude this time is 2. My midline is still y equals 0. There's still nothing being added on. My frequency is 3. And my period is 2 pi divided by 3. That was pretty easy one. So now I'm going to put in all my information that I have. So I'm going to slide up just a little bit. I need a little bit more room here. Okay, so I know my midline is here. Ooh, that was pretty good. And my amplitude is 2. So 1, 2. Okay, so, oh, see, I keep putting the arrows on the end of those little guidelines. I don't need those on the end of those guidelines. Okay. So I have sine, so where am I starting at? I'm starting at 0, 0. And I have to have a complete revelation in 2/3 of pi. 2/3 of pi. So here is, again, hate 2/3, but here we go. 1/3, 2/3 of pi. So I have to have a complete revelation in here. So that means in here, I will be, those are my x-intercepts. So I'm going to go the other way too. There, and approximately here. Should have 1 complete revelation, 2, so I'm doing 2 complete revelations. So here we go. I'm going to start here with sine. I go up first, so I need to go up halfway here, and then down through there, halfway, up, okay, down halfway, up, halfway, down. My points are a little off, that's why it looks a little off, but it's because I can't really judge a third very well, but it's, you guys can get the point, a third. And I should have 3 of those in there. Well, does that make sense? If I have a 1/3 of pi, another 1/3 of pi, I should have 3 by the time I get to 2 pi. Okay? 3 complete revelations by the time I get to 2 pi. And that's how that works. One last graph. I'm going to try this one. Whew. Okay. All right. So my amplitude is 1/2. Whew. My midline, look, I can't even think now. My midline is y equals 0. My period, we're going to find out my frequency is pi. So my period is 2 pi divided by pi, which is 2. Okay, so I have a period of 2. Okay, so let's put in my information. So I know my midline is at 0. And then I have my height is 1/2. And I have 1/2 up and 1/2 down. Okay. And I'm doing sine again. So sine means I'm starting at the on the midline. Good. So I know sine means I'm starting on the midline wherever the midline is, and cosine means I'm starting above the midline. Great. Okay. So period of 2, That means in pi, I need 2. So pi is 3.14. So I'm dividing it into thirds again. So third. I should be getting pretty good at dividing those into thirds, don't you think, by now? So third and a third. Something like that. There we go. So sine is going to go. So there's a point. There's a point. Halfway between, halfway above. So here we go. Ooh. Usually helps if you hit the points when you're graphing this. Okay. So there you go. Sorry, I was trying to make my arrow better. There you go. So that is how we graph these. I hope that you guys are going to be okay with this. Try it, see how it turns out. We have decided that we're going to do, I think we're going to do checkpoints in Canvas as quizzes. So we're going to see how that goes, see how that works. You will be having a quiz on, a checkpoint on graphing these at the end of this week, beginning of next week. Probably at the end of this week. We haven't decided when to give them and how long you're going to have to do them in. But as soon as I have that information, I will let you know. Thank you. I will see you next time. Bye.